Blog Talk Radio.
You are now listening to the Evolution Hour with hosts Rob Gauthier and George Spirakis. Hey everybody, this is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob.
And this is George.
And we are here today for the 20th week of Blog Talk Radio episode. Very, very special week for us. This is 20 weeks in a row that we have come to do the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour on Blog Talk Radio. How many was it before this we did, brother, just for YouTube?
Oh, God. I can't even remember the number, brother.
I was thinking it might be 3 or 4, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about perfect. I want to let you guys know that we are here every Wednesday at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, that's 6 o'clock Pacific Time. We are here for your wants and needs. The Rob and George Show is to raise the vibration of humanity in whole, to help humans evolve by sharing our love, our information, our knowledge, our vibration, and to have you co-create this event. It's very, very, very important to have you all co-create this experience with us, because the more energy that you add to it, the better off that all of us become, and the stronger the show's energy becomes, the stronger all of our vibration becomes. And you can do that in several different ways. The easiest way for most people who have their cell phones or house phones is by calling 347-308-8788. You can call anytime during the show, before the show, 15 minutes prior. Or what you can do is you can call in, or you can go into Blog Talk Radio, start up an account, and then you can link your Skype account to it. For those of you who have Skype or are overseas or don't want to pay long-distance bills, whichever the case may be, it's that easy to join us every week. Now, this is a show that costs us very little to produce. We have to pay Blog Talk for the time on here, and that's not a big deal to us. We will pay out of pockets if we have to, but we always suggest that if you feel the show is a help to humanity, if you want to share your experiences with us, by all means. We do welcome donations, and there's a donation link on the bottom of this. So, it's not a very big expense. If you want to help, do. If you don't, just sit back and enjoy, because we're doing this because we love to. We've got a couple announcements, too. First of all, next week here on the night, on the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour, we will have another special guest, Brad Johnson. For those of you who know, I've worked with him many times doing many different events. He is the one who channels a dronist, and he's very intellectual, very smart. A dronist also connects to him, and that intellectualness and smartness comes right through. So he's very articulate, has ways to express the meaning and the actual channeling itself into perfect amounts of information that all of us can enjoy and resonate with. I think it'll be really, really exciting. And that is next week. He will be here to talk a little bit with us, and then he'll be taking questions from the channeled source of dronists. And that is next week on the Rob and George Show, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And there's also one more event I'd like to talk about, too. This will be the ConsciousMatrix.com presenting the Cosmic Panel, Mind, Body, and Spirit. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. If you want to check it out, you can go to the YouTube page for Rob Gauthier, Treb Channeling or Channeling Treb Channeling. If you put in Treb Channeling, you'll find the channel instantly. It's the Cosmic Panel, Mind, Body, and Spirit. It'll have Wendy Kennedy, myself, and Brad Johnson. All of us will be channeling. That will be a simultaneous channeling, and it's all about the mind, body, and spirit complex and how that connects to each of us in our human daily existence. It'll be a real great show. That will be October 27th at 12 p.m. Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern. If you want more details, I'm not going to kill too much time off today with that, but go ahead and go to my Facebook page, go to the YouTube page for Treb Channeling. You'll find it on there. Also, trebchanneling.com. There's information there for it, too. We also have another groundbreaking event coming up with myself and George. Now, this is going to be, we don't even really have a name for it yet. We're thinking about lots of different ways to approach this, but we've been given a challenge by Treb. And this challenge is to lay ourselves out on the line for 7 days in a row. We are going to speak from our hearts about 7 different subjects, and each one of those will go directly in dealing with how humans deal day-to-day life through their extraordinary efforts to manifest, to be happy, and just sometimes to get through life. Sometimes in our life we feel that we're just getting through that. So all of these things will be covered. Explain a little bit more about it, brother.
Yes. First of all, thank you for all our listeners for joining us this week. And this was a really wonderful experience that we had talking with Treb a few days ago regarding this challenge. I really look forward to digging deep into, actually both of us digging deep and expressing ourselves and how our different experiences through coming together and different experiences in life and relationships and just basically talking really about the whole ball of wax and just trying to understand and hopefully it'll resonate with our listeners, maybe with their experiences, and we can talk about it back and forth after we're through with it. Also, I would like to thank our last week's guest, Daniel Scranton.
Yes.
It was really a beautiful show. I've really been a big admirer of Daniel's work, and he always puts out a beautiful daily message that is really enlightening. So I would suggest if you're able to go to his Facebook page and listen to these daily messages that he so gracefully puts out. And thank you again, Daniel. And I'm just excited to do today's show, brother.
Absolutely, brother, and so am I. We have a few callers online, and we'll get to you guys just in a couple minutes here. We see all of you waiting so patiently, and thank you all, too. When you do call, sometimes there will be a wait. Sometimes we're going through certain things, or sometimes we have to finish the discussion that we started before we move on to taking calls. So I appreciate all the patience of all the callers on today and every time on the Rob and George show here every Wednesday when we get together. Daniel Scranton was beautiful. It was great. Those of you who haven't had a chance to experience his work, go to danielscranton.com. That's his website. He does a lot of great things. The messages are always helpful, self-empowering, based around the concept of looking at yourself as the master of your own universe, as the creator of all things you see in front of you. And that's why me and you both have resonated with him so much, brothers, because it's so much like those channels or parts of information that we do resonate with. The self-empowerment, self-help entities that come and show us that way to help us. And I think it's so important that if that resonates with you, check that out. I think Daniel Scranton's a great guy. He's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Very real. He's very from the heart. And he's a great guy. What else, brother? Are you thinking anything else you've heard or seen or talked about with people in the last week or so?
Not really anything really pronounced. I think it seems like October is going to be kind of just a more of a purging of energies and kind of pushing us to really dig deep into ourselves. I think that's one of the reasons why Treb gave us that 7-day challenge. Every time I think about it, it kind of gives more insight into why he's asking us to do it at this time. So I'm really expecting some wonderful things to come. Obviously, whatever we say, whatever we all say, it's coming filtered through our higher selves, and depending on how we are reacting to these different discussions, will kind of let us know where we're vibrating at the time. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh, absolutely, brother, absolutely. Also, there's another way that you can contact me and George, and I did not mention this earlier, but we do have a new email address that I'd like to share with all of you. It is all one word, all small lettering, no hyphens, no commas, no dots. It's all the Rob and George Show at gmail.com. Give us a holler. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what your weekly experiences are. Tell us what's going on in your life, because that's why we're here, again, to co-create this experience with all of you. We've already got a few letters from people, and if we get time today, we'll talk about a few of those comments or reactions to the show. Even if you want to give us feedback for the show, things that you think are great, that'd be a great opportunity to do that. And I do agree with you too, brother. Everyone in our life right now in this level of energy that we're going through, that August energy that came up and it's still staying with a lot of us, Treb knows that that's happening to people. He knows that everyone's experiencing this. Yeah. All of us have felt that shockwaves, and that challenge is to open ourselves up, to speak from the heart, and to go through what everyone's gone through, our own experiences. Mine and George have had many experiences in our life that just talking about them and breaking them down, I think will be so beneficial and so healing to so many people. And that's why we want to participate in this challenge. And I think it's a great opportunity for all of us, and I think it's a great way to get everybody moving in the right direction again, and to be able to have tools to use that when they do. So I'm really excited for that, brother, and I want to appreciate you for sharing that too with everyone, brother.
Yes, absolutely. The more and more that we're doing this show, I'm really kind of understanding that there are really no mistakes in why we have such wonderful listeners and their wonderful questions that they call in and talk to us about. When I listen back at the shows, it's really remarkable, and it really makes you realize how we are all connected, and the groups of wonderful people that we're in contact with, and that's just a small fractal of the expansion, and those people friends with their people, and then their friends, and it goes on and on. So I'm really starting to get more and more of an understanding on how everything is working and how we are all connected. So I'm really so grateful to be able to share this with you, brother, and to have the callers that call in and discuss their issues, their awakening, and the different experiences that they're going through on a day-to-day level. So I feel fortunate enough to be a part of this. So thank you so much.
Well, absolutely, brother, and thank you too for being a part of this co-creation. I think what I'd like to do is go to a caller. We've got a couple of them starting to pile up right now. And the very first caller we have is from the 360 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, Rob and George. This is Risha from the
Hi, Risha.
Hi.
Hi, Risha.
Nice to talk with you, and I did enjoy the show last week, too, with Daniel. That was really nice.
Oh, beautiful.
And I actually called in with another, just sort of a thought, but as you were talking about this 7-day challenge, that sounds so interesting, and I just want to see if I'm getting this correct. It seems like Treb has asked you, and maybe us too, I don't know, for 7 days to really be speaking from our heart? Is that what you said?
Absolutely. Basically what Treb's asked me and George to do, and this is what the weird part is, Treb doesn't ask anyone to do anything. So this is a shock to both of us. He asked us, if you want to be of the greatest use to humanity, if you want to be the greatest use to yourself, I want you to talk about 7 things in 7 days. I want you to share them with the public, and I want the public to share theirs back with you. And he gave us 5 subjects to talk about, and that's love, that's excitement, it's about relationships when they benefit us, relationships when they don't benefit us, and emotion. And all 5 of those subjects are something that are either going through our own life right now, that have gone through our own life right now and impacted it very greatly. And he left the last two to be set into play. So what these last two will be is, as we go through and speak of each one of them, the last two will be open to our own hearts and our own interpretations. And once we do this every day, we want to share it with the public. We want the public to come back and a feedback, and then tell Risha, brother, what we're going to do after all of these are over.
Well, it's basically we're going to open the whole thing up for discussion to see how it maybe how our listeners have been touched by it in their own way, to maybe get a higher perspective on the, we have the 3D level of understanding with the ego, of course, involved, and maybe at the end of it all, we're I would imagine is going to be more of a understanding on the bigger picture of life, and sometimes we go through certain incidents that we perceive as negative, and then come to the understanding that on a more neutral stance that there's a greater purpose for everything that's going on, and we're right where we need to be. I'm so excited to do this. Yeah, it's this channeling session with Treb was really, as you said, brother, it was really kind of a benchmark in his channeling. It's something that he's never done, that kind of thrown the ball back in our court, and so I'm really excited about how this is going to turn out, and the more and more I think about it, it's really going to be outstanding.
Absolutely, I agree with you, brother. It's going to be groundbreaking, and that's me and George plan to speak without filters about hard subjects and all of these that have played a part in our own life, and really dig down deep and express our own experience with it, in the hopes that all who listen and all who wish to co-create this with will be able to do the same, not just to the public or not just to us, but to themselves as well, because that's what it's really about. It's about looking in ourselves, and this gives me and George the opportunity to look into ourselves very deeply and to help the creation of the collective do that with us, not just so that they can reflect back to us, but that we can reflect back to them also, and that all of us can reflect from the co-creation itself.
Does that make sense, Risha?
It does. It makes perfect sense, because it's shared. Number one, it's transparency, and it's when you will be speaking, you'll be speaking from a place of power, because it's your heartfelt truth, and
yes.
that brings that out in each of us, and as we're all in this together right now, we are changing all our vibration. I mean, we are. I don't know the right words, but we're doing it. We are doing it, and we're doing it together, and I love that. And of the subjects that you spoke about, one of them, it's why I'm sure I must have been tuned into some of it. I sort of equate, in one way, at least on the third dimension or maybe fourth, emotions with water. And my question for you today was, has Treb ever spoken in general about water, either the use, the value, the beauty, all that, anything about water that you can remember now or that you get right now
yeah.
about?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, brother, we've had this conversation before regarding the significance of water. I mean, our bodies are made of water. The Earth, Gaia, is predominantly water, and from what his channeling is spoken, really a lot of other channelings, it's a conductor of energy, and that's why we're made of it, and it's and I'm sure, Risha, you're near the water, so I'm sure you feel the emotional ebb and flow, so to speak, of the different emotions that you're feeling through the vibration of the Earth, and the waning of the moon, and the tides, and all that. It's all connected. Do you have anything you'd like to share regarding your specific
Yeah, to me, water is a connector. It's something that I feel connected with my very cells, which are water. I feel connected with the ocean, and then the ocean itself, as I look at it, as 10 hours a day, I can see the ocean. The rhythm of the ocean is very important to me. It helps me get away from time, third-dimensional time, but there's another kind of timing that goes on, a rhythm with the ocean, and then the connectiveness of the ocean and water itself, and like you say, we are a water planet. There's so much,
Yeah, it gets very deep, but yeah, I mean that's a great subject. I mean that's something that we'll have to talk more about. But I was just wondering if there was anything that specifically, obviously there's a reason why you chose to live near the water like that, and I was wondering if there were any experiences that you could share with us that maybe.
Oh, for sure, definitely. I sort of didn't get the quite question. I was really brought here right to this spot, circumstances, but my job here is to open my heart, and I do this almost as much as I can all day long, to open my heart, and then I feel this love going from my heart through our sun to the central sun of the Pleiades, and then out to the center of the cosmos, and then straight back into through the Pleiades, Halcyon, into our sun, into my heart, and into the center of our Earth. And then once that gets going, I just send love to the ocean, just as much love as I can to the ocean, and then in that sense to all the bodies of the water on the Earth, and then to the floor beneath the ocean, and then to the plates around the planet. That's my job for this time right now, and that is what I do here.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is beautiful. You're probably a grid worker, Risha.
Absolutely. That's
what
came to my mind as well. Sorry about that, Risha. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's in a very simplistic form that I have this, and it's, of course, it's third dimensional, but it's also other dimensional, but it's very, very simple.
Yeah, and it's a very strong feeling, isn't it? I mean, you feel connected and grounded to the earth so much. Again, there's no mistake why you're feeling this way, and that's why it's so beautiful to share this, because there's thousands of other people that are having that same feeling. It's why we're kind of drawn to the coastlines into water. So that's thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Risha.
But there's just one more part of it too. As I feel this projection from my heart through our sun, through Halcyon, into the very core of the cosmos, it all like collapses into no time and no space. That's another.
Yeah, well, that's where we're going. That's the fourth dimension. No time and space. So you're on the right track.
Absolutely, Risha, and I appreciate too sharing your experiences with us. And I hope that this 7-day challenge that Treb's given us will be a benefit to you also personally, but also everyone else who's playing a part of it. And we thank you too for calling today, Risha. We really, really appreciate the call.
Thank you, and thanks for asking.
All right, we love you.
Thank you, Risha.
Love you both.
Love you, bye. All right, thank you again, Risha, for the call. We have a couple more callers as well. One of them's been on the hold for quite some time, so we'll take this call before we go to a clip. We have a 661 area code, which indicates to me someone who is calling from a Skype number. So whoever's calling on a Skype phone number, who do we have with us this evening? 661 area code. Who do we have with us?
I think they dropped off, brother.
Oh, they're on there. They're just not talking right now. All right. Well, I'm going to put you back on mute. Hopefully you'll hear that you're being muted, and if you we'll check back on you here in a minute. All right. Well, let's go to the next caller that we've got in line before we play our clip from the 508 area code. Who do we have with us this evening? 508 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
This is Jerry Vano.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Good.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, this is the first time I ever called into a radio program. I wasn't led to do it before, but for some reason I felt led to call in here. I don't know why, but anyway.
Oh, that's great.
I don't know what subject you're talking about, but
well, we could talk really about anything you want to, anything that's led to your heart. If you're here listening to the show, there's a reason for it.
Yeah, there's a reason, sure.
I'm tuned into the Anunnaki and Nibiru and Tiamat and stuff like that. And I wrote a book about it.
What's the name of the book, Jerry?
Well, my first book was A Coming Merger of Science and Religion. That was about 20 years ago, but the uncovering of the greatest story never told. And it's, I was tuned into Zachariah Sitchin and and I see it. I see what he wrote, and I think he opened up a whole can of worms. And but I see it in the what he didn't see was the spiritual aspect of it. I see more or less the spiritual aspect of what he saw and what it leads to. And so anyway, that's where I'm coming from, and I don't know how much you know about the story
Zachariah
of the
Sitchin.
Yes,
that's
you know William Henry. William Henry?
Yes, William Henry, exactly. Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm a good friend of his, and but anyway, I don't know where to start. And any ideas, any questions or anything?
Absolutely. So far from I've talked to him about this many times. Considered a very, very hot topic for a lot of people. And basically, what's kind of sad about it is that it's important to see at a higher vibrational setting. There's technical shit that these entities email certain activities that are also what I'm not through. And basically, what they did is
whatever you said, I couldn't hear. I can't. My phone is not working for some reason. I just get a bunch of gibberish. I don't know. Maybe it's not supposed to be revealed what I've got to say. I don't know. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I don't know what's happened. But anyway, like I say, I never really called into any kind of these kind of programs, and I'm not led to talk very much. I do a lot of writing, but anyway, I can't hear you for some reason. So maybe we'll get back. I'll get back to you someday. I don't know. I can't just can't receive. I can't hear you. But I don't know if you can hear me, but. You're not coming through. I don't know.
All right, well, what we're going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to work on this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're really sorry about that. As soon as this man called, we had some technical difficulties. I'm not sure what it was about. I'm getting George back on the line right now. We are very, very sorry. This is the first time that anything like that has happened on our show. This is the very first time that I've had a glitch, so he couldn't hear us back. I tried to mute his microphone for him so that he could hear what we were saying. But for some reason we got kicked off, and now we're back on. I just got back on real quick, and it's very, very, very interesting a set of circumstances. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to cover some of that information, because this information is very valid. It's very real. It's the first time that we've had someone on the show talk about Nibiru, but it is information that Treb's been able to communicate with me before. What Treb says is that this Nibiru is a ship. It's a ship that's ran by entities called Anunnaki. And the history of the Anunnaki is a race of feminine Pleiadian entities who left the Pleiadian consciousness so that they could absorb and connect to their masculine side. And in doing this, somewhere down the line, they were given DNA by the ancient reptilians, the ones who are known by a lot of people as the Alpha Draco, or various other nicknames that have been given out. So these entities are the ones who came and first gave mankind their DNA shift. And Nibiru is a fourth density entity. It took a lot of consciousness for them to manifest themselves into the third density to interact with humans. So the whole concept about Nibiru getting close to the Earth on 2012, this was also kind of a mythical thing. They themselves never intended to manifest back as they became closer to Earth during the 2012, but a lot of the ancient reptilian entities kind of fed that through to mankind so that everyone would think about it. And as you know, the more that your thoughts produce reality, the more that they're going to manifest them into your reality. So it was basically a failed ploy by the ancient reptilian entities to try to kind of get humanity to go back to connecting to the concept of having them in our reality, right at the shift of consciousness, right at that. It was a failed attempt. There was no real resonance with it with humanity, because we understand we're raising our vibration. We're raising our consciousness. I can't remember if you got the name of that person, brother, but that's very interesting. At some point, I will try to recontact him, because like I said, I've never had that technical experience. I went to mute his mic. It didn't work. I went to hang up so he could call again. It didn't work, and then it shut our whole Blog Talk Radio. So it's kind of interesting.
It's interesting how that works. Yeah, it's obviously he felt compelled to call. So the interesting and your explanation of the reptilian and Narubu connection is, it's like you said, it's a manifestation of maybe the perception of negativity that never manifested, which was really interesting, and so yeah, maybe we could get back in touch with them on a future show and talk about that.
Oh, absolutely, brother. That is amazing experience. It's something that a lot of people don't talk about anymore, because the 2012 thing came by the wayside, and that was a big fear for humanity. It was a fearful event, and that fear fueled a lot of people to be worried about it, but it was something that never had to be worried about, and because the collective ignored it, it never manifested itself.
Right.
And that's one of the sessions that we did with Treb. It was a man. I don't think I'll share his name because I don't remember if he went anonymous, but he was worried about something with the 2012 with the Olympics. Also Nibiru, there was a lot of very bad rumors that were going around at that time to try to scare humanity back out of their growth that they earned. And that's what 2012 was about, was earning our growth of humanity back. And there were so many, let's say, malevolent forces trying to suppress that in humanity, so they started all these rumors. And that's why even still to this day, people come to me with rumors. Hey, have you heard that this war is going to break out? You hear that these reptilians are going to do this? And I don't listen to any of it anymore because I don't give it the power over my reality. And that hopes, I would suggest that to everyone. If you ignore these bad things, if you ignore all these things that people are talking about that could be coming up or that there's a plot to do, the only thing that gives that plot any power is your belief in it. And that's what creates reality. It's not the people around you who are creating it. It's your belief in their power to manifest that into your reality. And that's a very, very huge subject that Treb worked on for so long. Explain, brother, how that process works, how those negative thoughts. Give us maybe an example of how a person going through that mindset actually brings that to themselves.
Well, it's an experiences of, it's manifestation, basically. Okay. It just shows you the power of the collective in terms of manifestation. When we start to, like I said, understand the foundation of that our thoughts create our outside reality, you'll start to understand, and as you can see now in 2013 going towards December again, that a lot of this, this negative Illuminati and this Nibiru and all of this negative activity is kind of going to the wayside. It's like it's old news. And there's a reason why it's no more in our consciousness. We're evolving whether we know it or not. And our vibrations are so high that those perceived negatives are just, it's kind of old school stuff. It's in the past. And we're almost too past that to even really discuss it. It's something for the history books, but I think that it won't exist in your reality. Negativity won't exist in anyone's reality if you don't put your thoughts into believing it. It's your thoughts that are creating anything negative or positive in your life.
Absolutely, brother, and something interesting with us. If you'd like to try to re-engage that, or I don't know if that might cause more interference to reconnect or what the deal is, but how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I say let's jump into it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me grab him back on. Let's see if this is the same guy, and we'll do it from there. Give me 1 second here, brother, and I'm going to connect that call. What was his first name again?
Jerry.
All right, Jerry. Are you there with us, Jerry?
Sure.
Hey, Jerry, can you hear us? Okay, is there anyone else on a Skype telephone from the 661 area code? Maybe not. Well, let's we'll use that for a moment.
Yeah, maybe he's just listening at this point.
That's fine. And that's fine too, Jerry. If you can hear us, Jerry, we appreciate the call. We definitely want to get the information to you. If you feel the need to contact me, Rob Gauthier on Facebook, also George Spirakis, or if you'd like, please contact us at email with TheRobinGeorgeShow, all one name, small case letters, no dots, no hyphens, TheRobinGeorgeShow at gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, brother, and we appreciate the call and so very, very much right now. We've got a couple callers, but we've also got some clips, brother. How do you think we should run that one?
Well, I say we take the next call, and then we'll go to the clips.
Absolutely. Sounds great. We've got the 352 area code. Who do we have with us this evening?
Savita.
Hi, Savita. How are you doing, sister?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, Savita. It's so good to hear your voice again.
I was waiting to call. Yeah, you know what? I have a couple of stuff to discuss today.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. The first thing, I really want to thank you guys for doing this show.
Oh, thank you, Savita.
Thank you.
No, from the bottom of my heart. I was listening to, by the way, thank you so much, Rob, for posting all those pending shows on the YouTube.
Absolutely. I did it just for you, sister.
So, I was listening to the show, and you know what? I noticed one thing about myself, that I literally criticize myself so much. I do not accept myself very well. In one of the show, I heard talking that I do not experience any energies. But then I started noticing very keenly, and I literally noticed that, the full moon time, I'm so peaceful and calm and grounded. So, yes, thanks to you guys, that I noticed this thing about myself, that I do experience energies.
So what you're saying, Savita, that you're becoming more aware of your self-awareness?
Absolutely. I'm becoming more aware of myself. I'm becoming more aware of the thought processes I go through. I'm becoming more aware of the manifestation of myself. Yes. Plus, how I manifest things outside. It's like things are. I'm able to see things more clearly, and I am trying, and I'm quite successful also to take control of my life myself. It's not like previously my life was flowing by itself, but now I guide myself, my life. So it's definitely it's. I don't know. It's a huge change, knowing of your own self. I don't know it's about me or about everybody, but this is about me, that I'm knowing myself more. I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper into myself, which is beautiful. And it is really beautiful.
That type of exploration is the greatest kind that we can have, sister, isn't it? Because it allows us to see how our own thoughts, how our own experiences, how every step we take in life grows in front of us, and it's actually the direct the reaction from our thoughts, emotions, and also our experiences and our beliefs.
Yeah.
And another thing which leads to that is when I am when I can create my surrounding, when just take it that way, that definitely I am affecting others. Like if I'm happy, if I'm contented, or if I'm trying to grow, if I'm not getting into the negativity, whatever your choice is, if you want to get into negativity, this is your calling, that's okay too. So whatever we are getting into, that means we are affecting other people also.
Oh,
if I'm becoming more positive, because we all are connected, so I am affecting other people too. So when I'm affecting other people, that makes me more responsible for myself.
Absolutely. That's, brother, we had that session with Treb, and that time, I'll never forget it. He said that what you're feeling, your vibrations, are directly going into the grid around the earth that affects everybody else on a very small percentage. And that's why it's so important that the collective and us individually stays in a positive, as we're awakening here and we're understanding our own divinity, and that we're actually creating our surroundings and the people that we're coming in contact with on a positive or negative relationship, we're affecting the entire globe. I mean, this grid is across the globe, and it just affects everyone. So what Savita is saying is so true, that if she's feeling down, the people around her is gonna, they're gonna be down as well. So that's very profound. Thank you so much for that, Savita.
Yes, sister. Thank you for that too. And you're absolutely right, brother. That's exactly what Treb had said. That I remember that specific conversation. It was so powerful to me. I put it in with that music for the video because it made such great sense. That every thought you have, every amount of emotion you have, every energy you have, it's redistributed, like you said, 1/6 or 8 billionth of a time.
Yeah.
And every time you're more emotional, more powerful, and the higher your vibration is, or the more powerful you are overall in yourself, the more it gets distributed. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful concept. Thank you for reminding us of that, brother, too, because that was a very, very touching and beautiful. And thank you as well, sister, for sharing that.
Yeah, Rob, and this is my request to you, that you definitely touch many, many lives, and you are responsible for everybody. So be more aware and conscious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I remember always telling Savita, I always used to tell him when I first met him, he walks the walk and talks the talk. And that's why I think that's why we resonated so much, because I'm the same way, and when things aren't resonating to my liking, or if you're like you feel someone's negativity, it's just a natural act to kind of say, okay, what is this person mirroring back to me? Because we all mirror back and forth to each other. These different emotions and vibrations, so it's very important to be self-aware enough to, if you feel the negativity of another, it's showing you something about yourself, that there might be an aspect of yourself that might be negative or maybe imbalanced, and it's like a big red flag, So you get excited about it now and say, okay, what is this person showing me? And that's where, when you get to that point where you can be so aware in each moment of how your surroundings are, is when you really know that you're on top of the game and you're actually, driving it versus being kind of going through the waves of everybody else's, taking a look in the mirror, so to speak, and understanding how what's being reflected back to you. So that's a wonderful question. Thank you so much, Savita.
Absolutely, brother. I agree with you too. And yes, Savita, I have been completely aware of that concept for a long time. And sometimes life throws us curveballs, and it's not meant to do that to kick us in the face or to make us feel bad about ourselves. But it's absolutely what you said, brother. It's to reflect. And as long as we're all able to reflect and kind of see why these things are happening that are negative and why things are bad and why things feel bad, we've got to step up. And sometimes the emotions that we go through are not directly meant to be a punishment to us. It's to show us that indicator, that red flag, like Treb says, to show us exactly what it is that we're reflecting and that's going bad. And as much as I love the fact that you said that, brother, about walking the walk and talk the talk, I'm only human too. I have obviously things that are good and bad in life all the time. And when those bad things come up, it's the faith's ability to deal with it, to go through it. And even when you are upset, even when you are frustrated or sad or things are being reflected back to you in a way you don't like, the main key is to stay high vibrationally, to stay happy. And doing things like this is what helps us all. When we can all come together, co-create and talk and share our experiences and share our heart, I think that's the very, very best way for all of us to keep that vibration high. And I myself personally cannot wait for the 7-day challenge. There's so much to go over, so much to talk about, so much to experience, not just for us, brother, but for the whole collective. And I thank you too, sister, for calling in. We love you very, very dearly. But we're going to have to jump to the next caller real quickly, sister. We love you very, very much. And thanks
Bye,
for calling.
Savita.
Bye, Savita.
Don't disconnect my call. I'm listening.
Oh, no, we would never do that. We love you. Love you. Bye.
Bye, Savita. Love you.
Thank you, Savita. We've got a couple more callers in here. I think the 360. Yep, that was Risha. We've already talked to her. Let's try real quick, brother, to see about our gentleman friend with the Nibiru. See if he's still back on and can't hear us, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Jerry, are you still on there with us, bud?
Jerry, are you there?
Anyone with a 661 area code, a Skype phone?
Hi, is that me?
Yep, that's you.
Hi, it's Jess from Ontario. So not Jerry, but I'm on a Skype.
Well, we had a caller earlier who got disconnected. It was kind of a weird situation, but all the Skype phones look the same way.
That would probably be.
Oh, is your name Jessie?
Jess.
Oh, hi, Jess. How are you?
Hi. Good.
That's great.
I was just listening in. I wasn't expecting to be in the queue or anything, but it's great to meet you guys, and this is kind of my first time on the show, so I'm really enjoying it.
Great. Tell us about you, about yourself, and in your interest in our show. What are your experiences?
Yeah, sure. So I actually found you guys through the Yael Facebook group. I just recently kind of discovered the Yael, and then this whole big galactic family through Bashar recently, through listening to some of his audios. So that's kind of the trail that led me here, and I'm just fascinated with it all. I know I have at least one hybrid child and soul connections in the Yael and other of these galactic families, and it's just all fascinating me, and I was drawn to your show tonight.
Oh, that's so awesome!
That is wonderful.
I'm so excited, Jess. Now, tell me, how did you find out? Did you go through Carlos in the hybridchildren.com?
Actually, the way that I found it was I was listening to a Bashar audio, and he was talking about the Yael. And I'd heard him talk about it before, but this time it just kind of jumped out at me, and so I went and did a Google search, and I found Sean Swanson was the first one that I found, and that led me to YouTube, and I was doing searches on YouTube for the Yael and found some of your guys' videos and found the Facebook group, and it was just kind of like this whole new world opened up.
Cool.
Well, that group on Facebook, the Yael group, is personally one of my favorite. It's got some of the greatest people you could ever meet in the world. Carlos, like you were saying, brother. Vashta's on there, Awaken Within. Risha's a regular visitor there. There's a ton of people there. Kimberly also helps them out. They've all actually put up a website, too, which has been very, very awesome. I believe it's called The Galactic Family. Don't quote me until I look it up. I'm going to look at that while we're speaking, but it is absolutely a wonderful group. So many great people, great vibrations there. I frequent that group myself. It's very open and conversation. And for as small as an amount of people that actually are on that group, I think there's less than 500. It's a very active group, and tons of wonderful, more brilliant information comes out of there. They're really open to sharing all of the work that we've done. I personally know Sean Swanson. He's a great guy. Brad Johnson, too. Actually, we all just did a channeled event a month ago, and it was about galactic families, hybrid children. It was about all of that. It was simultaneous channeling with all three of us, with Treb, with Ishwa, and with Adronis, too. It was real good. And, yes, that is actually www.galacticfamilies, families with an S on the end, .com. They actually have a page there on Treb's race. So if you go there, go to galacticfamilies.com /yit.html. There's a lot of information there about Treb and his race, too. And that website started by that same group of people from the Yael group. It's a website that was designed and personally worked on by all the pre-named names that I just said of the people that were in the group. So it's a really great group. How long ago did you start in that group?
Just within the last week. It's been really recent.
Oh, wow. So you're fresh into the group. That's great. If you tell them that you had, and they'll all know because they all listen to the show too, if you tell them that you were on here, it'll be great because they'll really are warm people. They're really loving. They welcome people into their group instantly. So, I'm glad that you're there. And look for me, too. I'm there often. You could see mine and George's Facebook page if you want. Send us a friend request. And that goes for all the listeners, too. Anyone who wants to send a friend request, Rob Gauthier on Facebook. George is there somewhere, too. He doesn't use it as often as I do, but we both love to share our experiences with everyone, but more so have them share their experiences with us. We get to talk every week, but not everybody gets that chance.
Right, and I was going to say, brother, that, Jess could also contact Awaken to get a picture. We should set her up with that as well so she could actually have a visual picture sent to her about the hybrid children.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lady named Awaken Within, and people always laugh. They're like, well, that's, kind of a crazy name. Why don't you use your real name? But the funny story is that was actually on one of her birth certificates. Awaken Within is her real name. You can find her on Facebook in the Yael group. She's one of the administrators. She always posts there. If you talk to her and say that you find that you have a hybrid child and you want a visualization of that, she's easily able to pick up from the etheric or from her guides. And she's drawn pictures of Treb that's been beautiful, the NCI channel. Literally, she does it all.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, I've seen her in the group, meaning to connect with her. So thanks for that kind of reminder.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about before we go?
No, go ahead. I was kind of surprised to actually be in the queue, and it was just great to meet you guys. So thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you, Jess. It's always rewarding to have a listener come, and I hope you come back.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. We appreciate it. And to all the callers, too, out there, we do apologize. Not everyone who's called in has meant to call in. It seems that Blog Talk Radio's had a bug for about the last 3 to 4 weeks. Everyone who's calling in is either getting thrown on the board randomly or specific area codes get thrown on there. And it's real weird. I don't understand it. But if you are on the queue, we apologize. And if you are not wanting to talk or willing to talk, just let us know. I'm here to listen. That's all I got to say, and we'll leave you alone, too. So we apologize about that.
Well, you know what? It's there's no mistake again. I mean, it was nice talking to her. We kind of introduced ourselves, and now we have a new friend. So that's great.
Absolutely, that's perfectly, brother. Perfectly said. We have a clip that we didn't play from last week. It's one about Treb. Last week we were talking about a lot of things. Energies, feminine and masculine was actually the last question that we had covered with the Treb session that George and Treb had done. So what I'd like to do now is I'd like to play a little clip from the counterpoint to the feminine and masculine, the external point that Treb talked about, and we'll go ahead and play that, brother, and then we'll comment.
Great.
All right, brother.
I see. Great. Yeah, that explains a lot. I use that analogy to explain to us when these both masculine and feminine energies are coming to the earth at this time, how it will affect each of us individually, and if there was any criteria that we could use individually to help us balance our current energy ratio.
The concept of individual change is just this. It is individual change. There is no way to express a blanket term that will allow all entities to experience one idea or another. But if you are looking at the generality of this, if you are experiencing things that are outside of your normal concepts, of your own balance between feminine and masculine energy. Understand and accept the concept that if you are of a masculine energy and you become very emotional, that this is very acceptable, that you need to be more emotional in certain ways if you are a majority masculine, that this is not a negative thing, that these stereotypes that have been brought upon this earth of what feminine and masculine should be is just this. It is a stereotype. It is one that allows you to only be in one way. If you wish to expand and to grow in any way of life, you must balance these concepts of what masculine and feminine are, and to try to remove these definitions from yourself, and do not concern yourself of what masculine or feminine is. You must try to find the true nature of your own individual overall energy, the very greatest you that you are able to experience, regardless if the attributes tend to come from a masculine or feminine perception. Great clip there, brother. What do you take from that?
Well, and what I get out of it is that we better start understanding, both the men and women out there, that we're both. Basically, if you're a male, you're half. I mean, the ideal, I guess, is a 50-50 split. And depending on how these energies are affecting you, if they're going to be negative, that means you're out of balance, basically, just in general terms. For thousands of years, this has been going on in terms of the negativity produced by that masculine energy, the wars and fighting and all of these things that are now having to change because we just have to. I mean, this ascension is all about balance and balancing the duality of this consciousness now. So that was a very profound message that, and the same thing for women. There's a lot of women that have a lot of masculine energies, and if they're out of balance, they'll be affected as well. So it's a kind of a wake up call. And if we're fortunate enough to be in a community in awakening, so you can understand these terms, you'll understand them better and really let those energies flow through you versus having them bottled up and trying to fight it. That's what I got out of it.
Absolutely, brother. And I remember the clip before this too talked about how each individual, because you had said something too, Treb, about that too. Well, how does it work with the masculine energy, feminine percentage? And he said that it's different with everyone, that there's a lot of masculine energy in females and a lot of feminine energy in males.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is perceived as homosexuality. Sometimes it's perceived as transgenderism. It's just a different way to experience it. Basically, what I think, Treb, too, he said to be the greatest you that you can be and stop looking at the assignments of what gender is. If
right.
you have feminine energy and you're a man, then go ahead and be a feminine entity. That the stereotype of what homosexuality bashers do, they go out and they really get down on these people and really insult them and hurt them, and it's because they're stereotyping certain energies in certain containers, and that's all it is, energy in a container. There's no need to judge it. There's no need to label it. There's no need to assign it. Be who you are. If you have more of one than the other, that's great. Just do what you're here to do. If you're being who you are, then all of the things in masculine and feminine won't matter. It's the actions that you create. It's the person you are that truly matters.
Absolutely, brother. And it's one of those things that we have to let go of, just like fear, judgment. I mean, we have to get as a collective away from judging people. We have to look at people as a soul. I mean, we have to let go of this color of the skin and the whole, the how one person perceives another, how we're used to for thousands of years. We have to remember that we have many past lives that have had this type of judgment against other people, other religions, other colors, things of that nature. We have to learn to let go. again, that's old news. We have to let go of that stuff. It's just weighing us down. We've got to get rid of the fear, get rid of the things in our life that no longer are serving us in a way that we can understand it and learn from it and grow. It's evolving. It's an evolution. So, all of these messages tie so well into messages that we're learning and what we're going through in this ascension period. So it's so great.
Absolutely, brother. That clip was very, very great. I love the way that Treb always describes things. And with that, let's listen to another clip here real quick. This is another part of the same session from later that night. We'll go ahead and roll the clip.
All right. The next question I have, Treb, is for those of us that are into this, the spirituality, esoteric community, and we're dealing with people that are basically on the same page with remembering who we really are. Is there a way for us to maybe when we're out and about to touch others that may be not awakened yet in a way to express the spirituality where they don't it doesn't sound too foreign, or is it the best way to just love them all on an individual basis, love all of collective as a whole, in terms of trying to express the spirituality to help them better awaken themselves?
Yes, both of these ideas can be used and can be very great. The concept of loving all entities equally, awake or not awake. If they are not awake in your own perception, this will also show you your ability or inability to judge. If you can see them as not equally vibrationally, but you do not see them in a negative light, then this is a very good concept of your own perception. This means that you are not placing judgment upon them. If you are placing judgment upon them, then it is the perception that you must work upon to remind yourself of the enlightenment that you choose to see. But when you are looking at concepts of loving all, this is very essential to raise your own vibration. But what we have expressed previously, again and again to many entities, is the concept of leading vibrationally and also leading by example. When an entity sees that you are truly happy in your own existence, that your life has come to resonate with them, that your existence tends to be seamless in the way that you translate happiness to physical existence, then this would truly be seen as an example by other entities. And when an entity who is in the need to be higher vibrationally, or whose life feels that they need higher vibrational existence, regardless of what the concepts of knowledge that they have for enlightenment or growth within them, they will see you as the shining beacon, or many would say, as a vessel, in order to be able to translate the concepts of their own growth. And then they will come to you to ask, what is this in your existence that makes you such a complete entity? And when they have done this, they will be open to the information that you have to share. If they are not open, they will never be able to perceive what you are saying is either truthful or based in reality. So if you choose to share by verbal ways, this is also very acceptable. But when you are doing this in this manner, do not expect complete openness from all entities to accept this. Because in the level of you going to, let us say, preach or share your own experiences with others, many of them will not resonate because they are not there vibrationally. It is the ones who are open to vibration or vibrationally within the spectrum of your own vibrational settings that will allow a communication without you having to engage this.
Oh, man. That was so awesome, wasn't it?
Oh, it was beautiful, brother. What I personally take from that is the opportunity to share yourself vibrationally. We've been talking about it all night, how one of our actions, one of our energies goes out into this grid. Well, that also goes into relationships that we have every day. I have a lot of people contact me and say, Rob, I love my wife, I love my girlfriend, I love my husband so much, and they just don't get this information. They just will not sit and listen to me. They won't resonate with it. I'm worried about them. I'm worried about their soul. I'm worried about their well-being. I'm worried about their happiness. Well, the point is, it doesn't matter. They're going through their existence. And that's not to be rude, and you don't want to dismiss anyone. But that whole part doesn't matter. They're going through their experiences for their reasons, and the best way that you can ever show an example is to change your life by living through your own beliefs, by taking this information that's given to you and living with it, showing people I am who I am happy, and my life is an example. And those people who look at that example and have any sort of resonance with any of your vibration whatsoever, they will come to you in one way or another. It could be manifested out as a fight or an argument. It could be manifested out as just someone walking up to you and say, hey, you look happy. How do you do that? I mean, literally, it can go a million ways. Being yourself, being happy, that is the greatest teacher. So there's never a need to have to preach to anyone. A lot of people who deal with fundamentalist Christians have that same complaint. I've always got people knocking at my door telling me how I should live. So imagine that you're doing that to someone else when you go to them. It's always good to speak your heart. Say, hey, maybe this is what's going wrong. Maybe this. If they don't accept it, then that's the time to say, you know what, that's good. I understand you have your own belief. And when you look at them not as they're doing okay, when you look at them like, hey, these people are not doing good, we've all learned this the hard way. That is a soul's judgment. And that really does not help someone vibrationally. So just live it. Show them. They will come to you. You don't need to go to them. That's what I got out of it, brother.
Yeah, brother, the reason why I asked that question is because a lot of when I go on the internet and I hear about, you go to these light worker websites and you're finding judgment amongst the light workers themselves. And the reason why I asked that question is because I wanted Treb to do this. I mean, we did this specifically for this radio show, but when you see light workers themselves, or ones that are so-called awakened, are judging themselves because I hear they're calling each other sleepers and it's another judgment. And we have to start realizing, because when you're aware of this, you really start to understand in your surroundings the people that are coming up to you. An example of mine is about a month ago, I was out having dinner with some friends, and this woman came up to me and she started talking, and so she asked me for my number, and I gave it to her. And then the next day, and I think I told you when we were doing a session with Treb, just for laughs, I asked Treb about this woman, and come to find out that she was a soulmate. And it's so what does that tell us? That tells us anybody in our immediate surroundings that we're meeting, a new person, somebody that you might be working with, these could be part of your soul family, and it really opened up my eyes to think like, it wasn't an uncommon occurrence, but I actually was aware enough to bring this up and see it, and sure enough, that she was a soulmate that we had past existence, and this was just, what was it, like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And it's and then she wants to do a session with Treb, and it's so fascinating how we're actually traveling with this soul groups. That's why it's so important not to judge people that are coming up to you. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter. This could be part of your family. This woman could have been my mother in a past life, my brother, my sister. We don't know, and we still haven't done that session. But I'm saying that once we understand how we're all connected, we're all one, it really makes you not judge, and it makes you, anybody that comes up to you at the grocery store or wherever, it's like, this could be someone that I'm traveling through this experience with. And so when we learn this and make this a part of our awareness, you really start to give love to everyone. You just, you at least have the loving feeling in your heart, like, and when you look at someone and don't judge them and things like that. So it's really a beautiful, that was a beautiful session. I remember that.
Absolutely, brother. And I appreciate you, too, using that comparison from your personal life to share with everyone, too, because it is important that we don't judge. And unfortunately, there is kind of an epidemic at this time of the spiritual community and how people are kind of interacting with each other. And that does turn a lot of newcomers off.
Yeah.
Come into the spiritual community expecting to connect to enlightened people, and they come to a bunch of bickering and fighting. But what everyone has to understand is that is, in its part, a show of the duality of all of us. We all have that in us at one level or another. There's always a breaking point for everyone, and it depends on what your belief systems are. But there's always a part where you can always revert to your ego self. So remember that. Remember that when you're meeting these people, it is very, very important not to judge. And even if they're judging each other, understand that's all part of the human experience. None of us are immune to things that happen that we perceive as negative, or things that are supposed to be in a certain community that aren't. That's something that a lot of people do, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. And that's why loving each other and showing that love is so, so important. Right now, I was going to play the other clip, brother, but we're getting lower on time.
Yeah.
Go ahead and run through that concept of the challenge one more time, just for people who might not have been with us at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a challenge that was a first for Treb to actually, as I said, throw the ball in our court and ask us to delve into ourselves. In terms of, because of these energies that are coming to the earth right now that we're all experiencing. I mean, every human on earth. And I think at the end of this process, we'll kind of have a better understanding in putting our money where our mouth is and saying, okay, this is what I realized about these particular situations that we experience in life. And I think it's really going to be, and again, as I think about it, it just grows and grows and grows. But I hope everyone is able to listen to these segments. And again, we'll talk about them either at the end of the 7, which I'm assuming we'll do, and really discuss how these certain types of incidents and judgments like that we didn't know as we were going through the experience. Yet at the end of it, we have a better understanding of why things happen the way they do. There's a purpose for it, even if we don't have that higher perspective, like the higher self. But it's all for the betterment of our progression and evolution as a soul. So I think it's going to be so awesome. I'm just so excited about it, brother.
Oh, I'm so excited too, brother. It's going to be such a great thing. And we will be starting that very soon. I think I'd like to start working on that as soon as possible. So I'd like you guys to all take a look out for the Facebook page, Rob Gauthier. I'm going to be posting these talks as we have them. It was suggested that we do 1 hour per day for 7 days, and that we post them instantly without editing. So we're going to be doing that real soon. And please just keep an eye out on the Facebook page for that, and also the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour page, also on Facebook, that we've made up, that we make our announcements on. So either one of those two venues on Facebook would be a great opportunity. Also the Treb Channeling. Trebor Yitney is the name of the actual YouTube page, and the Rob and George Show. We're going to be doing that on both of those YouTube pages as well. We're going to share this through as many outlets as we can, because we feel it's that important. Also, we want to reiterate that next week, 9 o'clock p.m., 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, and 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, we will be having a very, very, very special guest and also a very good friend of mine, Brad Johnson. He's a great guy. He will be here to talk about some deep concepts, but he's also going to give you guys the opportunity to call in and ask questions to Adronis firsthand. So be ready to call next Friday if you want to do that, if that's what you choose to do. He will be there and be ready to take all calls and questions through his channel, Adronis, and that's next week, 1 week from today. Also, there is the Open Forum 22. Me and George haven't got back to that. There's been a lot of things going on in both of our lives at this time. Things have been very, very busy. I'm sure we'll get into a lot of that through our 7-day challenge about the adversities we've overcome and the adversities we're still dealing with in life, because that's what it's about, the open conversation. So keep an eye out for that. We'll make an announcement either next week or the week after when we're doing the Open Forum 22. And what that is for you guys to call in on a non-Robin George Enlightenment Evolution Hour day. And you guys can call in and you can ask questions to Treb. And we're going to have a 2-hour event, and we're going to do that. And the first hour we'll talk how we met. We'll talk about a few other things, and then we'll start the channeling. George will take your calls while I'll be channeling Treb, and we'll do that as a live open forum. And I think that'll be a real great opportunity too. Also, again, if you look up the Mind, Body, Spirit event that I'll be doing, will be a really great one too if you want to check that out. And also, our thanks to Daniel Scranton for last week's show. It was a great turnout. A lot of people came in. A lot of people called. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing. The Yell group on Facebook, if you haven't checked them out and you're interested in hybrid children, if you're interested about hybrid entities, go check them out. They're a great group to have in. I also want to thank the caller today, too. I forget his name. I'm horrible with names, brother. Who was this?
You mean Jerry?
Jerry. If you're out there listening, Jerry, still, please feel free to contact me, Rob Gauthier, on Facebook. It's the same picture that you'll see on the bottom of the Blog Talk Radio, or type in Rob Gauthier Treb, and that will pull up one of many various ways, or contact us via email, therobandgeorgeshow@gmail.com. Let us know who you are, and we'd love to get back in contact with you, have you on, and talk about Nibiru. I think I covered most of it today about what Nibiru really is, a deep concept, at least from what Treb explains to us. I know there's a million views, and all of them are correct, but at least that's one way to look at it. So we really love and appreciate you guys more than our hearts and our mouths can explain to you.
Oh, so true.
Without you guys, we have no reason to do this. We're here for you guys. And if you can, brother, explain to them again, and I know we go over this almost every week, but I think it's very vital to explain why we do this for you guys.
Well, you and I, brother, are we had some, there's been some wonderful synchronicities that brought us together years ago, and
yes.
And the, it's so wonderful that you have to express this, and so many wonderful people that I personally have met through the wonderful groups that we're all connected with. I mean, what a beautiful group of people. I mean, there's hundreds of people now that are connected to us and through the years, and we, just the growth through these pains that we're having right now. I think that's the whole idea, is to grow from these pains. They're growing pains. It's a rebirth of the collective consciousness that we're going through, and we should really understand what the ascension really is all about. And once everybody understands that on a better level, we will all change this earth for the better. It's already changing. I mean, look at the politics. I mean, when we look at when I look at the monetary system and the governments are crumbling, it's like, great, let's get it over with and start a new one. So, it's time to be excited about the negative things now, because that means we're moving forward, that there's growth, and we have to stop looking at things in a negative way and having fear about those things. Let's let's applaud everything that's going on and have a positive attitude against them, and everything is going to be great. So thanks again for a wonderful show, brother, and thank you for all our callers and listeners, and can't wait to do it next week again.
Oh, we'll be here next week in full force. Rain, snow, or shine, happy face, sad face, whatever way you want to look at me and George, or at least one of us, will be here every Wednesday. If for some unseen force of nature were to happen to come upon us, we will make sure that you have content here every week, whether we have to throw a session on or anything. But we want to be here for you guys. It's not just a want, it's a need. It's a deep, deep need in both of our hearts to really be here for all of you guys, just as you guys are here for us. Little does everyone know that the calls we get mean just as much to us as the answers you receive. And we love you guys so much, so much. And thank you guys all for being a part of this. Remember, we're here every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, because this is the Rob and George Enlightenment Evolution Hour. This is Rob.
And this is George.
And we will see you next week, we promise. And we love you guys.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.